But let's start with our lead story of the day regarding Peter Doocy cornering the White House team over Biden not following CDC and COVID guidelines while he's positive. So it's truly astonishing, him pointing out the hypocrisy of what the White House is doing. And we see this all the time from politicians. We see this all the time from the Democrat Party, where they put in these guidelines that they themselves don't even follow. See, they're the kings, we're the peasants. We have to follow whatever they say. And if we don't, there's consequences, like you going to jail, you getting a citation, you getting a violation, you getting your business shut down. But when the president does it, right? When the Democrat Party, the leftists do it, nothing happens to them. No violations, nobody gets fired, nobody gets fined, nobody gets thrown in jail. Everything's fine, everything's A-okay. And then when you highlight the contradiction, when you highlight the hypocrisy, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that, it's truly a sight to be seen, folks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip with Peter Doocy, making this man just completely stumbling and fumbling his words.
To follow up on Dr. O'Connor not being here, is this a situation where Dr. O'Connor does not want to come and talk about the president's health, or where the president doesn't want Dr. O'Connor talking about his health?
I will tell you, I have spoken both to the president and to Dr. O'Connor on an ongoing basis, and neither of them has expressed a preference on either. Dr. O'Connor has not at any point said he doesn't want to come. The president has not at any point said he does not want Dr. O'Connor to come. So I would say neither of those is correct.
Okay.
It is a little odd, right, that they're not chauffeuring out the president's doctor to take questions from the press. When Donald Trump got COVID, that doctor was out there like every hour, right, in front of the hospital. It is so weird that they're playing telephone where this guy's the middleman here between Biden and the doctor and the press. Why not just chauffeur out the doctor? Why not just have that be firsthand, right there with your source? And it's also a problem, too, because this guy's gotten things wrong. He's literally said things, and the press goes, well, you said this. The doctor sent out a letter to all of us that said this, so which is it? And it just creates more confusion, where if you just got the doctor out there to answer everyone's questions, which would make kind of sense, right? Rather than having this guy, well, I talked to the doctor, I talked to Joe, and all these things. Quite frankly, we don't care about you, man. You're just the middleman. Nobody cares about the middleman. We want to see the primary source, which is the doctor. Look, the real reason why they're probably not having that guy chauffeured out is because everyone knows that the cognitive ability question, the head of where Joe Biden's at, is going to ask, and he's not going to answer it, which is going to alarm everybody. It's going to raise a lot of questions, and that's just going to be where the next news story is at, where if they don't chauffeur him out, then they can't really ask those questions because nobody expects this knucklehead to know everything. Maybe it's wrong of me to call him a knucklehead. He's not answering the questions fully. He is dodging certain things, and you're about to see that happen right now regarding Joe Biden not following the CDC guidelines and Peter Doocy calling it out. Let's roll it.
And you said again today that the president is following the CDC guidelines very strictly. It seems like there are people in the residence taking his photo with no mask on. I was looking at the guidance for COVID positive people. I don't see any carve-outs
Peter's giddy
for something like that. So is he really following the CDC guidelines?
Yeah, so so a couple of things. What's really important to anybody who's interacted with the president, and it's been a much smaller footprint, has been socially distanced as much as possible. They've all been wearing N95s, and whenever possible, we've done this we've done this outside with windows open.
But isn't the guidance for the person with COVID to be wearing an N95 when there are people around as well?
So, look, Peter, I think if you think about, the
Don't you love that one? He's trying to figure out how to answer this, right? In a nutshell, this guy's just a politician. His job isn't to cover for the president. His job is to give us the news and information we need to know about. We're the American people. We'd like to know and make sure our president's okay. But if he's not following the CDC guidelines, that's a little bit of a problem. And I love the aspect of, well, everybody else around him's wearing N95 masks. Isn't the purpose of the N95 and the mask in just in a nutshell for the person that's sick so they don't get everybody else sick? But you're going to have him taking pictures while he's contagious? Like we said the other day, I mean, the whole episode is about how the Democrats' messaging and the White House messaging just sucks. And it's continuing here. Again, I don't know why they're chauffeuring this guy out. He's trying to cover for the president. He's trying to cover many other things here, which he doesn't need to be. He should have just been forthcoming and say, hey, you know what? You're right. we should meet together as a team and go over these guidelines a little bit more clear and meet with the president to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can, that he is following these guidelines so that we don't have this happen again. Like, just be forthcoming with us. Stop trying to dodge the question. Stop trying to manipulate it. Stop trying to do all these things of like, oh, well, we had the windows cracked open or we took him outside. We had the windows cracked open? Really? That's what you could come up with? That's how you know this is BS, folks. I mean, come on. Fumbling through the words, doesn't know how to answer it. Well, two things. And just, again, we've said it time and time again on the show. If you're constantly fumbling through your words, if you're constantly stuttering without having a stuttering problem, odds are you're probably lying and trying to make up something off the top of your head. And that's exactly what's happening here.
The president, he does generally wear a mask when he's around other people. He sometimes takes the mask off when he's getting a photo taken. He's been, most of his interactions with others, he has been wearing a mask. And the bottom line is that everybody around him is fully vaccinated and boosted. And he has been, I think, following CDC guidelines very careful.
All right.
Oh, I think he's been following it. Not exactly sure. You know, just with a lot of the stuff this guy's chauffeured out, but not exactly sure. Says one thing, again, the doctor says something different. He gets called out for it. And he's, oh, I got to read the notes. Again, the person that wrote the notes is the one that should be at the podium answering the people's questions rather than this guy. But I think he's been following it to his best of his ability. Oh, and everyone's vaxxed. Everyone's boosted around him. Who cares? Who cares if everyone's vaxxed and boosted? Look, I'm vaccinated. I support being vaccinated. But hey, it doesn't stop you from getting the disease. It just lessens it. But remember that whole thing of, oh, you're not going to get it. That came from Fauci. It came from Biden himself. And it comes out, oh, you're still going to get infected with it. So don't give me this whole thing of like, oh, well, they're boosted. We cracked windows. He sometimes takes his mask off. But yet you guys hounded businesses, private American businesses, and shut them down, threw them in jail when they didn't wear a mask. But yet you have Gavin Newsom going to the laundry restaurant or whatever the hell it's called, like the French Laundry or something in California, when everybody couldn't go out. Everybody had to sit home, but he's out with the elites. He's out with the people that are giving him the moolah, not wearing a mask, sitting right next to them, eating dinner. While all of us are shut down and shut in. We can't go to a restaurant. We can't go spend time with their family. Hell, people couldn't even go see their loved ones in the hospital, but that knucklehead that's part of the Democrat Party that wants to make a 2024 presidential run is going out having a grand old time. Furthermore, you have a lot of these Democrats. You have the late night talk show hosts that are always massaging and rubbing the shoulders of the Democrat Party, covering for them as well, going out to sporting events, no mask on, yada, 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 always ripping Trump for whatever he's doing, but they're not going to rip themselves and their elite friends for doing the very thing that they're calling us out for, whether it's going to a Trump rally or doing something else. It's always hypocritical with the Democrat Party. I'm not saying that Republicans themselves aren't hypocritical. I just think that the Democrat Party does it a lot more and has been doing a lot more. So there you have it. Peter Doocy clearly making this guy fumble through his words. Little odd that he's supposed to be there, just giving us the news and information, not adding in his 2 cents, but going and saying words like, well, I think he's following the CDC guidelines. Oh, well, it might be this. Oh, well, I haven't actually heard the doctor say this. I don't expect you to know everything about the doctor, but then why answer the question if you don't actually know everything? Why even be up there in the first place? Again, I know I'm repeating myself. It's just frustrating because they're covering for this guy that clearly has an ailment, that clearly is suffering from some sort of dementia or some sort of cognitive decline, and they don't want to face the issue, and neither do Democrats. Democrats don't want to face that issue either. This should be like the #1 headline every single day of the president's falling. He's having a massive decline. He's saying he has cancer. He just said that he has COVID. He's saying a trigger pressure. Like, he's fighting with this teleprompter. He's falling asleep at events. All these things should be front headline news. And then what we should be doing is saying, hey, can we get a report on the president's cognitive ability? Like, can we actually get something chauffeured out in front of the American public for this guy's decline, or at least prove us wrong regarding his mental decline? Why is that not like the main story? Like I've always said, Donald Trump, when he was shaking a little bit, having a glass of water, like maybe his blood sugar level was low or something, the media lost their crap. And he talked about his health, that he's not capable of making decisions. We should implement the 25th Amendment, all this stuff. And you're just not seeing anything from the media. You're not seeing anything from the progressive left. You're not seeing anything from the Democrat Party in terms of getting this guy a cognitive test and then allowing all Americans who voted for this guy to see it. We all know why. The guy would fail it. he would fail it freaking so bad it's ridiculous. And they want to chauffeur this guy out in 2024. This guy wants to run again. It's mind-blowing. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.